Tonight, keeping the faith. A major new study finds the overwhelming majority of American adults are religious, but many have changed churches since they were children. I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, Campaign 08. Hillary Clinton makes it clear she is not giving up. But which Democrat has the best chance of beating John McCain? What our latest poll found. Hepatitis C. Why so many people are getting this dangerous infection in a most unlikely place, a doctor's office. And a diplomatic overture. An American orchestra performs in communist North Korea.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. Well, if you doubt America is a religious country, a new survey out today may make a believer of you. In a nation of 225 million adults, an overwhelming majority, 189 million, say in effect they've got religion. That's just one key finding in the most comprehensive survey ever conducted of religion in America, involving more than 35,000 people. It also shows that while a majority of Americans are keeping the faith, many are also changing the faith that they keep. Here's Wyatt Andrews.
You need the power of the Lord Jesus Christ.
This unprecedented survey of religion answers many of the concerns about a secular, morally void America. To the surprise of many experts, Americans are still deeply religious, with 84% of adults claiming a religious affiliation.
In the developed world, this is really the most religious country. 84% practicing or affiliated formally with a religion is a very, very high figure.
Perhaps the most astonishing finding is on the level of religious change. 44% of Americans are in a different religion from the one in which they were raised. Even in matters of faith, it seems, Americans shop around.
It is incredible the amount of change that is happening. It is like a marketplace in many ways, and we so describe it in the report.
There are winners and losers in the marketplace for faith, and one winner is evangelical Christianity. While the political clout of evangelicals has splintered in this election year, the faith itself at 26.4% is America's largest. Catholics are next at 23.9%, but the church is in upheaval. 23 million Catholics have left to join other faiths, an amazing 10% of all American adults.
How many of you gathered here are former Roman Catholics?
At the Dulles Community Church near Washington,
we are going to follow Christ.
A non-denominational Christian church with a charismatic young preacher and a live rock band. Several former Catholics like Clara O'Brien said they were seeking a church with fewer rules.
What is better about this?
It's joyful. It's about opening your arms and opening your heart.
The loss to Catholics would be a full-blown crisis except for this. Latino immigrants have almost completely replaced the 23 million who left.
And that fact puts a brand new spin on the immigration debate. In Europe today, immigration is mostly Muslim, but immigration to America is overwhelmingly Christian.
Immigration is reinforcing the generally Christian makeup of American society.
The survey revealed some other surprises. The number of affiliated Jews, for example, is only 1.7% of the population. Muslims are just 0.6%. And the most educated group is the Hindus. 50% hold postgraduate degrees. Overall, Americans are in a faith they have chosen, not the one once chosen for them. They are truly living freedom of religion. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, South Riding, Virginia.
From religion to politics now, and a new indication of just how important Americans consider this presidential election. In a new CBS News New York Times poll of registered voters, more than half told us they're paying a lot of attention to this campaign. That's up from just over a third last month, and the highest number this early in an election year since we first asked the question back in 1980. As for what they think about the candidates, Nancy Cordes has more about that tonight.
Who would you choose in a head-to-head matchup between a Democrat and Senator John McCain? In our first look ahead to this fall's general election, Senator Clinton and McCain are tied, dead even at 46%. Senator Obama, however, bests McCain by 12 points, 50% to 38%. The difference is independent voters, says CBS Deputy Polling Director Sarah Dutton.
When we look at a race between Hillary Clinton and John McCain, independent voters back McCain. But in a contest between Barack Obama and John McCain, they gravitate towards Obama and away from McCain.
73% of those polled think the 71-year-old McCain is prepared to be president. Clinton comes in second at 57%, while a majority say Obama needs a few more years.
I am ready on day one.
McCain also has the edge when it comes to handling matters of security. 48% say he would very likely be an effective commander-in-chief. Fewer than half as many feel that way about Obama and Clinton.
I know how to work with leaders who share our dreams of a freer, safer, and more prosperous world, and how to stand up to those who don't.
But those polled actually think Obama, not McCain, would have the best shot at improving relations with other countries. And here at home, they consider Obama best equipped to unite the country. 67% say they think he could do that, trailed by McCain at 51% and Clinton at 34%.
We are going to join together, lock arms, and go about the difficult but noble task of remaking this nation.
The poll reveals an electorate deeply pessimistic about the economy. 70% say it's bad, and just 20% say they are very confident in Obama's ability to deal with it, followed by 19% for Clinton and 11% for McCain, showing that all three have work to do winning over voters who are worried about their wallets.
Those who thought going into Iraq was the right thing to do were more likely to express confidence in John McCain to make the right decisions there, while those who thought we should have stayed out gave the edge to Obama, Katie, followed by Senator Clinton.
All right, Nancy Cordes. Nancy, thanks so much. Meanwhile, McCain said something about Iraq today he wishes he hadn't. He told reporters that if he cannot convince Americans that U.S. policy in Iraq is succeeding, then, quote, I lose. He quickly took back those two words, I lose, but he went on to say, obviously, Iraq will play a role in voters' judgment of my ability to handle national security. The next big primary showdown between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama comes March 4th, and Hillary Clinton wants to clear up any confusion. She is marching forth. Jim Axelrod is in Dayton, Ohio tonight, and Jim, Senator Clinton is not retreating 1 inch, is she?
No, Katie. A senior Clinton aide told me today that Hillary Clinton doesn't like it at all the way her final warm remarks in that debate last week were seen as a farewell. So she is leaving no doubt that she will fight and fight fiercely for the Democratic nomination.
We've seen the tragic result of having a president who had neither the experience nor the wisdom to manage our foreign policy.
Whether discrediting his foreign policy or mocking his speech-making, Hillary Clinton is now hitting Barack Obama harder than ever, every time out.
The sky will open, the light will come down, celestial choirs will be singing, and everyone will know we should do the right thing and the world will be perfect.
But Obama's punching back with a new tactic. Clinton's criticism is not a hit on him, he says, but his supporters.
That all of you here are infatuated with, these pretty words, but you don't have a real good sense of how the world works. You're not hard-headed, you're not tough-minded, that you're romantics.
They're not just trading shots, they're trading shots about whether they've taken shots in the first place. This picture of Obama in a turban and robe on an African visit is flying around the internet. His camp says Clinton staffers put it out, and that's shameful and offensive. Clinton aides say it wasn't them, but point out there's plenty of similar pictures of the Clintons, and the shame's on Obama's aides for saying it's divisive. It must be crunch time.
Why are people abandoning Hillary for Obama? Some say that they're put off by the fact that Hillary can't control her husband and that we would end up with co-presidents.
Hillary Clinton may be winning the Saturday Night Live primary.
Because that would be terrible, having two intelligent, qualified people working together to solve problems. Ugh!
She's also holding a clear, if shrinking, lead in Ohio. But Texas is a dead heat. Even her husband says she must win both. So when Hillary Clinton goes after Barack Obama in Ohio, Rhode Island, or anywhere else, she's hoping they're listening in Texas.
It is trench-to-trench warfare, hand-to-hand combat for every single vote in Texas. It's that close with an enormous amount at stake.
All this suggests a much harsher tone in tomorrow night's debate here in Ohio. The Clinton campaign is concerned that Hillary Clinton could come off looking negative, but the feeling inside is it's now or never. Katie?
Jim Axelrod in Dayton, Ohio tonight. Jim, thank you. There is much more CBS News ahead. There is growing concern tonight about two serious infectious diseases, hepatitis B and C. More than 5 million Americans have these chronic liver diseases. They're spread by contact with infected blood, often from sharing needles. But more outbreaks are starting at a place you go to stay or get well. Here's our medical correspondent, Dr. Emily Sine, with tonight's Eye on Your Health.
During treatment for breast cancer in 2002, Evelyn McKnight, a hearing specialist, was floored to learn she'd have to fight a second serious disease, hepatitis C.
We were just completely confounded. We had no idea where I could have gotten that because I didn't have any risk factors.
Heart's shadows are here.
Soon her husband Tom, a family physician in Fremont, Nebraska, discovered some of his patients had also been infected.
The only common denominator was that we were all cancer patients.
And receiving chemotherapy at the same cancer treatment center. In the end, 99 people were infected, the largest outbreak of its kind in North American history. The cause? Nurses were discarding used needles, but were reusing the contaminated syringes, passing infection from patient to patient.
It's constant worry about, am I going to wake up and be jaundiced? Is this the day that cirrhosis is going to show up?
Since 1999, the Centers for Disease Control has tracked 31 outbreaks in a variety of outpatient settings, including one in Norman, Oklahoma at a pain treatment clinic, one near Baltimore, Maryland at a cardiology center. And in New York City, 3 patients were infected during outpatient anesthesia and 4,500 others are now being tested. These known outbreaks could be just the tip of the iceberg.
There's no excuse for this. It's on the order of driving against traffic on the freeway. It's that reckless.
The CDC's Dr. Michael Bell blames these outbreaks on sloppy infection control practices in outpatient settings, which are not regulated as strictly as hospitals.
The problem with non-hospital settings, ambulatory settings, is a lot of times there's less of a framework to make sure people do things right every time.
Now it's ready for use.
Anesthesiologist Rebecca Twersky of Long Island College Hospital demonstrated one way infection could be spread using multi-dose vials, vials designed for use in more than one patient.
What you shouldn't do is take that same syringe that I just used before, go back into that bottle and take out the medication. Even change the needle if you're still using the same syringe.
You've contaminated the bottle.
Correct. Then in comes the next patient, and you go through the whole process, not realizing that patient A might have their microscopic blood particles into the multi-dose vial.
You should not feel like seeking health care is a high-risk behavior.
Evelyn McKnight founded an advocacy group, which is now lobbying Capitol Hill.
Nice to meet you, Evelyn.
For better oversight in outpatient settings.
Every patient deserves to feel safe when they seek health care, regardless of if it's in the hospital or if it's home health care or if it's in a doctor's office.
Public health officials are urging doctors to eliminate the use of these multi-dose vials.
In the meantime, what would you advise patients to do?
Emily? It's really very simple. All patients should feel free to tell the anesthesiologist, talk to them before you go in. Say, I'd feel more comfortable if you used a syringe that's just for me, a needle that's just for me, and a vial that's just for me, and throw it away at the end.
All right, Dr. Emily Sine. Emily, thank you. One more medical note. You won't be seeing any more of those Lipitor ads featuring Dr. Robert Jarvik, who invented the artificial heart. Pfizer said today it's pulling the ads for the cholesterol-lowering drug because they led to, quote, misimpressions. For one thing, the rower in the TV ad was not Jarvik, but a body double. And members of Congress had criticized the ad, saying Jarvik seemed to be giving medical advice when he is not a medical doctor. When we come back, the battle over electronic eavesdropping without a warrant, protecting national security, but at what price? President Bush urged Congress again today to give him the power to conduct electronic eavesdropping on potential terrorists without a warrant. That practice was greatly expanded after the September 11th attacks, but the law that allowed it recently expired. At the heart of this latest battle is concern over privacy and the role played by phone companies. Bob Orr explains.
Everyone agrees U.S. intelligence needs to be able to listen in on terrorist phone calls.
And that can happen more quickly if the government is not required to get a warrant. But a new law aimed at doing just that, monitoring foreign terrorist conversations and emails, is bogged down in political bickering. The president accuses House Democrats of stalling the bill and costing the U.S. some critical intelligence.
To put it bluntly, if the enemy is calling into America, we really need to know what they're saying.
But key Democrats in a blistering column in today's Washington Post charge President Bush has resorted to scare tactics and political games. At issue is whether or not telecommunications companies like Verizon and AT&T should be protected from lawsuits when they help the government tap conversations of suspected foreign terrorists, when those calls and emails are routed through the U.S. An old law giving telecoms immunity expired a week and a half ago. And while the companies are still reluctantly helping with wiretaps, officials warn they could pull the plug at any time, requiring the government then to seek a court order whenever it wants to listen.
I want to make sure that our intelligence community has the tools it needs and the agility it needs to run down terrorists as quickly as possible.
Some Democrats, though, warn that blanket immunity could cost some Americans their privacy. Those who suspect that their phones may have been improperly tapped would have no right to sue and no way to find out what the government overheard. Both sides say privately the fight over wiretaps will be worked out. But for now, politicians seem more interested in partisan potshots than a serious discussion about countering the continuing terror threat. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
Now to the CBS News Money Watch. You may have noticed gas prices have taken a big jump lately. The Energy Department said today they're up 9 cents in the past week to a nationwide average of $3.13 a gallon, the highest in nearly 9 months. Now an update. Last year we told you the story of Dr. Sam Hassenbusch, an award-winning neurosurgeon. When he learned in May of 2005 that he had a brain tumor, he persuaded his colleagues at the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston.
That's the spot he found on the MRI.
To let him be the first to try a groundbreaking but experimental treatment involving a combination of therapies.
How are you doing there?
And while patients like him often live no longer than 12 months, the results of that treatment appear to have helped. He lived nearly 3 more years and opened the door for other patients to receive the same novel and life-extending treatment. But today, Dr. Hassenbusch lost his courageous battle against brain cancer. He was 54. And that is the CBS Evening News. I'm Katie Couric. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com.